Hello group, Dina Garcia here, a dietitian, nutritionist, and mindful eating coach. And I have our next challenge for this month, which is late, but hopefully it's worth the wait. And it's really not so much of a challenge as it is kind of a project or an activity that we can all work on together. So I thought it'd be really fun to do something that just brings about a lot of positivity into the group. Especially like February, because sometimes February just is kind of like blah, especially if you're up north and you're just like ready for winter to be over, and like the holidays have worn off and you're ready for spring. And so let's kind of like bring some life into February. So what I want everybody to do is work on creating a positive affirmation. So there's really two types of affirmations. We have negative affirmations, which are things, statements or thoughts in our head that affirm to us something negative, like, oh, you'll never be good enough, or, you're just not pretty, or you're just not capable of doing that. So those would be negative thoughts. They're affirming to us something negative. And a positive affirmation is the opposite. It affirms something positive to us, like, oh, you're capable, you're going to be successful, you can do whatever you put your mind to, and really feeling that those are true. So if there's something that you want to work on right now or improve in your life, I would recommend that you create a positive affirmation around that. So you can just think of something really positive you want to bring into your life and make an affirmation. Or you can think of something very specific that maybe you want to improve on. So I'll give you an example. I did this probably like a year ago, maybe a little more. My kids were still very, very young, and it was definitely over a year ago. They were very, very young, and my business, I was still kind of getting into the swing of like the business and my schedule and the small kids, and I said to my husband, I was like, I'm just like stressed out all the time because the house is just like always messy. It's always cluttered. There's always just stuff around it. It's like just made me feel stressed. I didn't like it. And I decided that, I'm going to create a positive affirmation around that. So instead of saying, I'm always stressed because the house is always a mess, I said, something along the lines of, I feel relaxed and stress-free, or I feel relaxed because, I always maintain a reasonably clean house. And I kind of like posted that around in different places, and I read it here and there throughout the day. And a couple really crazy things happened over the next couple of weeks. I came into some ideas, and I even had some conversations with friends that really brought about like a new perspective for me about keeping a clean house, as well as some little tips that really helped me to kind of stay on top of things as I go, that I was able to implement in without really any extra work, which is what I needed. And like a month or so later, I said to my husband, I said, you know what? I was like, we've really been keeping the house a lot more clean, and I feel a lot better about it. And so this, I didn't put this immense pressure on myself to make it happen overnight. I just sort of let it happen organically. And so that's just an example. But here's the thing with positive affirmations. If you don't believe that they're true, or that there is a possibility that they could come true, they may backfire. And here's the reason. If you're telling yourself and affirming to yourself something that you don't believe is true, your ego, your internal ego, will come out and just kind of fight you on it. Your ego is there to kind of protect you and be defensive, and your ego is the one that brings in your fear, and your ego is going to say, no, and it's going to kind of push back and maybe bring on some self-sabotaging thoughts, and might actually bring about more distress, like if your ego just really is not digging this positive affirmation. So what can be super helpful and more effective than a positive affirmation is twisting that positive affirmation into a question. So rather than saying, eating healthy is easy, which most people may not and do not think that to be true, you would ask yourself a question like, am I willing to allow healthy eating to become healthy? Because the truth is, if you allow it to become habit and get into routines and things that naturally fall into your life, it does get much easier. When you're fueled with the right advice and the right information, it does get a lot easier. Or if you say to yourself, I know I can be successful, or I know I'm going to get that promotion. If your ego doesn't believe it, it may fight back and sabotage you. So you could say something like, am I capable of getting this promotion? And then your ego is going to go, I don't really think so now, but you know, you questioned me. I'm willing to maybe look at some possibilities, and it's going to help you to problem solve and to think through what you really need to do to make that happen. So the questions can be really, really helpful. So here's what I want you all to do for this month. I want you to send me your positive affirmation. And if you need some help creating one, just post in the group like, hey Dina, or hey guys, gals, this is what I'm struggling with. How can I turn this into a positive affirmation? And we'll be there to support you, to help you through that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all your positive affirmations and I'm going to put them onto some lovely little graphics, and I'm going to share one of them every day. And I want you all to come into the group and like the ones that you're going to use or implement into your life. And we'll see who gets the most votes, which positive affirmation like totally kicks ass and is really, you know, helpful for the most people. And doesn't mean that if yours doesn't get the most votes, it's not awesome and not something that's totally going to benefit you. But I just thought it'd be kind of something fun to do. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to formulate those positive affirmations into a question. So, you know, maybe you don't need it into a question if it's your positive affirmation because you feel like you can make it true. But maybe someone else likes the positive affirmation, but they don't think it's true, so they could benefit from, you know, seeing it in a question form. And so we can use all of those to just kind of bring about some positivity and some positive change into our lives for February. And a few things to think about, you know, you can make these about anything you want. So it could be about your health, it could be about, you know, lowering stress or improving your relationships, or, you know, what you do with your free time. But some things to think about is February is Heart Month, and I think it's the third week of February is National Eating Disorder Awareness Week. So you could do something around body image and self-esteem. That would be really cool. I could try to save those maybe for that week. So I look forward to what you all have to share, and I will see you in the group. Bye now.